We're going to read out the book of Sirach 33, verses 14 and 15. And it reads, "Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two, and two, one against another." First, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakakadosh. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Again, I'm going to say shalom. This is your brother Yahusai coming after you on a video, and I have a series of videos. Okay, before we go into the videos, we're gonna post a copyright disclaimer first. Okay, we're gonna post that first. Fair use disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. The copyright laws of the United States recognize a fair use of copyrighted content. Section 107 of the United States Copyright Act states, notwithstanding provisions of sections 106 and 106A, the fair use of the copyrighted work includes such use by reproduction, copies, phono records, or by any other means specified by that section for purpose such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachings, scholarship, research, is not an infringement of copyright. Copyright disclaimer, fair use. Okay. Now we're gonna get into these videos. We had Trump have this summit in China, okay, and I'm just gonna post the opening video, okay. The first video, I believe the very first video, it's only a minute 48 seconds. Real short entry, and in this entry you're gonna see the head of China was not there to greet him. Okay, so we're gonna run that one really quick.
The plane now, going to come down those steps to this particular ceremony that we're going to see here. Jonathan, we had just had Janice explain to us tomorrow is really where we'll see a lot of that pomp and circumstance when he actually meets with Xi Jinping, when the two of them are together. But walk us through what we're going to see here in this moment and just how significant it is, the president stepping onto Chinese soil.
Yeah, I mean, as your colleague said up, yes, I mean, this is the first time we've had a U.S. president visiting China in nearly a decade, right? And President Trump was the last one to make this trip back in 2017. So this is fairly momentous, just the mere fact of the trip actually happening, right? And it is a shift in the overall tenor and vibe for the U.S.-China relationship, because after that trip in 2017, you of course had the trade war with Washington. Between Washington and China. And then throughout the Biden administration, whenever there were encounters between the two presidents, it was always in third countries, right? I think there was a real hesitation on both sides to engage in this kind of reciprocal visit, especially since the relationship was in such a tense period, right? So again, I think this really shows a shift, and again, almost back to an earlier era in some ways, it feels like, in the U.S.-China relationship. I mean, I think what's different now is that beneath the surface and beneath the pageantry, you do have a lot more contestation behind this, under the hood. There is real tension behind the surface, and I think in both sides, in both Washington and Beijing, I think what everybody is waiting for is when does this moment break and we return to a more competitive approach between the two sides and greater tensions.
Okay, that's the first video. That was the intro. Now, in the following video, I guess that, I don't know if that's the Chinese version of the White House, okay, or their palace. That video goes for 1:41. I'm gonna quickly run that video.
当前100年变局加速演进，国际形势是变乱交织，世界走到新的十字路口。中美两国能不能跨越所谓的修昔底德陷阱？
We've had a fantastic relationship. We've gotten along. When there were difficulties, we worked it out. I would call you and you would call me, and whenever we had a problem, people don't know, whenever we had a problem, we worked it out very quickly. And we're going to have a fantastic future together.
Okay, so there were talks, excuse me, Slovakia. They did meet, but it wasn't the traditional meetup, okay? And from just looking at how that started, you have to wonder did that meeting between China and the United States go well. I'm going to share the next video clip by famous YouTuber known as Ben Miles, okay, with the Midas touch. I'm going to give you an expert breakdown and take on was it truly good. So we're going to run this clip.
This is not the trip to China that Donald Trump thought it was going to be, as Xi Jinping insulted Donald Trump intentionally by not showing up to greet Trump when Air Force One arrived in China. Now Donald Trump has gone absolutely silent. For the past 16 hours, he's said nothing. He has posted nothing. His last post was bragging about seeing the all-powerful Xi Jinping and how excited he was that Xi Jinping was going to greet him, and Trump said he was going to bring all of these American CEOs. Instead, we saw Donald Trump struggle down the Air Force One steps, step by step, seemed like a Herculean task for the ailing, frail, weak, and elderly Donald Trump. Iranian media posted the following as Donald Trump's arrival in China was nothing short of a disaster. There were some lower level ministers from China there to greet Trump. There was also a group of school children there, which I think was done by Xi Jinping to troll Donald Trump. Iranian media said the following: the aircraft carrying the president of the terrorist American government arrived in Beijing, the capital of China, moments ago. As noted earlier today as well, the Chinese state-run media by and large ignored Donald Trump's visit. The main story in the China Daily was the Sino-Tajikistan relationship. That was the front page. Sino-Tajik ties enter a new phase. Then if you look on the right column, it says Xi navigates China-U.S. relations amid global uncertainty. He has to navigate it because Trump is a difficult tyrant and authoritarian. That's the message that they were sending right there. I mean, Trump has been utterly humiliated so far, and all of the CEOs are seeing how pathetic Donald Trump looks right now, as Trump looks like he's begging. on Chinese media. I mean, so China Daily, that was at least written in English. In the Chinese media, they write, there's no stories of Donald Trump's arrival. And this, as we're also learning this morning, get this, Chinese companies are now discussing major new arms deal sales to Iran, explicitly ignoring Donald Trump's letter to Xi before his arrival that he should not allow arm transfers, with Xi replying that he was not doing so. And then the Chinese companies, as Trump arrived, said, we're cutting all of these deals with Iran. I just want you to think about the message this is sending. Trump brings all of these American CEOs with him to cut deals with Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping doesn't show up or hasn't met with Donald Trump yet. And instead, the Chinese companies start cutting deals right now while Trump is there with Iran. China plans to route the weapons through third countries with the goal of masking origins. A previous $5 billion Chinese weapons delivery to Iran included a lot of critical weaponry that Iran needed, one of which is suspected of downing the U.S. F-15E over Iran on April 3rd. Also, Iran then signaling to China, thank you, Xi. We appreciate you. So right ahead of Trump's Xi summit, Iran just granted more than 10 Chinese ships, including those very large container ships, the VLCCs, those oil tankers, permission to transit the Strait of Hormuz just in the past 48 hours through its Persian Gulf Strait Authority, preempting any U.S. attempt to use China as leverage on Iran during the summit, aka checkmate. So Iran recognized that Donald Trump would try to cut some deal with Xi Jinping to say, let me help you get the Chinese tankers out. So Iran said, nope. You want to do some weapons deals with us, China? We'll let your VLCCs, those very large ships, those tankers and cargo ships out. And then by the way, all of this was choreographed last week. Remember we were telling you on the Midas Touch Network exactly what was going to happen when Foreign Minister Araghchi from Iran visited Beijing and met with his counterpart Wang Yi. We said they were setting this up right here to humiliate Donald Trump the way they are right now. With China receiving 50% of its oil through Hormuz, Xi can now tell Trump that Chinese ships are transiting while the Hormuz crisis is Donald Trump's crisis right now.
Okay. And based on this account, this meeting didn't go so well. This is the reality of what truly went down, right? America went in there with all these tech CEOs, and the main objective was to, I guess, have China turn on Iran and help them with the strays, which we all know wasn't going to happen. Okay. Again, February 28, 2026, the United States put themselves in the abyss and they can't get out. And it was very foolish for them to even attempt to ask China for assist. And on top of that, China warned them about the whole Taiwan conflict. And they basically told America, you get involved with us, it's going to turn pretty bad. In this sense, a potential war with China. You got to remember, America's in no position to war any nation right now. They're so jammed up with Iran. And remember, the fuel, their weapons capacity, all that's in disarray. And they're in no position to go to war with China. China's going to always support Iran and Russia. And on the Russia topic, I'm going to show the next video, okay? The next video, I believe it's no more than 2 minutes. It should be around 2 minutes. Let me see. It's a 2-minute clip, and it's pretty bad. So you guys remember I mentioned the hybrid war, or the Russian leader, it was Lavrov. He said a while back that they were in a hybrid war with the United States, and this video proves that. But America don't want to be in conflict with China, Russia, and Iran all at once, but that's what this is looking like. Okay. Before I play that, I actually want to show how that how the meeting with China didn't end well. You know, Trump basically parted ways, but there was no real deal at the end of the day. And then I'll share the severity of American troops, okay, or Americans fighting in Ukraine. And it's not the first time that reports got out. So I'm going to play both clips. I'm going to play both video clips, okay? So we're going to run both.
United States this morning after spending a few days in China. This is a look at his departure ceremony from Beijing. Before that, the president spent the day with a new round of talks with China's president.
Yeah, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the two countries found common ground with the war in Iran though President Trump will not be asking for help in ending the conflict. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
President Trump given a ceremonial send-off from China this morning to cap a summit mixing pageantry and thorny politics.
We've made some fantastic trade deals, great for both countries. He's a man I respect greatly, become really a friend.
The president praising Chinese leader Xi Jinping, and while there's no sign of a breakthrough on a comprehensive trade deal, he suggested Boeing would sell China 200 jets.
It was sort of like a statement, but I think it was a commitment.
And teased potential business with other American CEOs who joined the trip.
One thing I think that we're going to make a deal on, they've agreed they want to buy oil from the United States.
The president acknowledged China wants to keep buying oil from Iran, propping up their economy, but said Beijing won't give Tehran military equipment and offered help with a deal.
We feel very similar to Iran. We want that to end. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. We want the straits open.
China is Tehran's most powerful ally, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio told NBC's Tom Yamas the president didn't ask for help ending the war.
We're not asking for China's help. We don't need their help.
Secretary Rubio also weighing in on Taiwan, the island's self-governing democracy that China's communist government claims as its own, and that the U.S. sells weapons to deter Chinese aggression.
U.S. policy on the issue of Taiwan is unchanged as of today.
That as a Chinese spokesperson warned if the issue is mishandled, the countries could collide or even conflict, pushing the relationship into dangerous territory. A stark reminder of the remaining challenges in a critical and complicated relationship. From here, the U.S. trade representative said the U.S. and China would set up a board of trade to work toward reducing some tariffs. And President Trump has invited President Xi to visit Washington in September. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Pete Hegseth officially confirmed that there are U.S. military personnel in Ukraine. According to him, American soldiers and officers are actively learning from the experience of modern drone warfare, both offensively and defensively. Thus, the United States has actually officially confirmed that U.S. servicemen are directly involved in the fighting against the Russian army. It is worth noting that starting in 2022, the Russian Defense Ministry regularly reports on the deaths of U.S. Army officers and soldiers in Ukraine. This is mainly because expensive and complex Western weapons systems, such as the HIMARS multiple launch rocket systems and the Patriot missile system, are operated exclusively by U.S. servicemen.
Okay, because it's bad. It's bad. It's already bad for America right now. Okay, with this current conflict, and now they're engaging Russia in Ukraine. Last video clip, about 2 minutes, 38 seconds. Russia tests its Sarmat 2 I'm going to show this clip, and we're going to carry on with the video.
Over to Eurasia, where Moscow is flexing its strategic nuclear muscles. Now, this comes following a successful high-stakes military test. That's right, termed Satan II by NATO, the Russian Ministry of Defense has confirmed test firing its next-gen RS-28 Samrat intercontinental ballistic missile from the Plesets Cosmodrome. Now, viewers, interestingly, the missile struck a mock target thousands of miles away, all the way in the Kamchatka Peninsula. This test arrives at a very crucial global turning point, coming just months after the expiration of the New START treaty. Let's quickly, meanwhile, pull up data for a closer look at the raw capabilities of this super heavy weapon. First and foremost, the Sarmat achieves a massive suborbital range exceeding 35,000 kilometers. This specific flight path allows the missile to really bypass Western radar by routing over either poles of the Earth. Next up, now the structural frame lifts a heavy 10-ton payload, as you see right next to me, capacity during the boost phase. Now this heavy throw weight accommodates complex countermeasures. Now these are decoys built to even blind the latest missile defense shields that have been put up by countries. Next up, the staging bus deploys up to 16 independently targetable nuclear re-entry warheads. Not only this, it can also carry 3 Avangard hypersonic glide vehicles, which are capable of flying at speeds of up to Mach 27. Speaking of feet, the missile travels at hypersonic terminal velocities more than 20 times the speed of sound. Now, this extreme speed, it prevents interception by air defense networks. A 3-stage liquid-fueled engine, furthermore, powers this 208 metric ton missile straight out of the silo. The propulsion system drives the weapon past terminal speeds of Mach 20 to outrun interceptors. Now, very interestingly here, as the global strategic landscape shifts, the world's 3 military superpowers field opposing land-based intercontinental delivery systems, and all of them are engineered for maximum geopolitical reach. You see, Russia's 35,000-kilometer suborbital Satan II vastly still outdistances China's road-mobile Dongfeng 41. As you see here, Dongfeng has a range of around 15,000 kilometers, and of course, America's Minuteman III with a claimed range of 13,000 kilometers. Now, this competitive technological push is occurring under precarious diplomatic conditions. Let me underline that once again. What am I talking about here? Well, the New START treaty, which legally restricted the deployment of long-range strategic warheads and also intercontinental delivery systems between the US and Russia, it officially expired on the 5th of February earlier this year. With no replacement framework active, this latest successful test signals a shift into unconstrained global nuclear arms race. Meanwhile, let's just also run you through what Putin said after the successful launch of this missile.
Во-вторых, и это главное, ракета может двигаться не только по баллистической, но и по суборбитальной траектории. Что, в-третьих, позволяет обеспечить дальность применения свыше 35 тысяч километров с одновременно улучшенными в 2 раза характеристиками по точности. И, наконец, с возможностью преодоления всех существующих и перспективных систем противоракетной обороны.
I said this in my last video, I'm going to say this again. Russia have the capability, as seen in the video, they could send a Sarmat over here. And yes, in that video clip, Russia tested their Sarmat too. I believe some arms treaty ended in February of this year. So it was like a START treaty expired. It wasn't renewed. And now Russia is testing the Sarmat 2. And prophetically, that missile is going to come this way and the nations will assist. Because the truth of the matter is, the nations are really fed up with the United States and the Israelis post-February. I'm going to always push that going forward. This deal that China tried to, this deal that America tried to make with China, that ain't going nowhere. The only thing that's going to stick is the whole tech side. Because if you notice in those videos, the tech gurus were all there. Okay. You know, some brothers pushing, this is for that old technocracy. And on a technocracy doctrine, I don't rule nothing out, but you have to consider we are living in the very last days. And will they make that thing physical? Like I said, you can't rule it out. But for the United States of America and the Israelis as a whole, they're in the corner. And ultimately, Revelation 17 is going to play out. Let's read Revelation 17. Okay? I want to always push that in this time because truth be told, we're in that era where these missiles are going to fly and the great exodus is going to manifest. Okay? Revelation chapter 17. Okay? Quickly, we're going to read 17, Revelation 17 and verse 5 first, or verse 4. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold, and precious stones, and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness for her fornications. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. That is the United States of America. We live in America in these last days at the Choke 250 celebration, where they're the biggest villain on the planet Earth and in the universe. And no nation likes America now, post February 28. And the tides is turning, and it's a warning sign because these nations is going to turn on this place. This is what it's going to look like. We're going to read Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16. It reads, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. And that's going into this ICBM thermonuclear destruction, okay? If you look at the video post, Russia just tested Satan 2, aka the Sarman 2. Okay? And these are the missiles that's going to hit every major city across the United States of America. Because the time of the judgment only draws near for America. Okay? This is a stark warning to our brothers and sisters living in the political world and just jammed up with trying to be a Babylonian. This place is going to be judged. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 17. For the Most High had put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom to the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Okay, that was past, present, and the future portion of that is when the destruction happened. The saints of the Most High are going to take over. Okay, the children of Israel going to take over this world forever and ever. And these nations, I guess they believe they'll start a new world, ignorant to the fact that the Son of Man is going to come to reign and run this world in total righteousness forever and ever. Okay, let's get some judgment. Okay. Shalom to the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel scattered abroad. Shalom, shalom. Let's get Isaiah 66 real quick. Okay. So it's not looking good for the United States as that time gets closer and closer. And we're living in the end. Okay. These are the end of days. Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 15, because you have this thing with the so-called UFO reports. There's a lot of new UFO reports going viral, and that's another obstacle that the United States isn't prepared for. Okay, this is going to happen once they show up. Isaiah 66 and 15, and it reads, And this is future prophecy. Okay. It reads, for behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots. One moment. It says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So this Caesar Borgias, okay, this KKK Christianity doctrine, when they teaching he coming to save everybody, this breakdown in Isaiah 6:15 on down says otherwise. He's not coming to have a banquet. He's not coming to give hugs and kisses. He's coming to destroy the nations, okay? He's going to destroy 2 parts of his people, and he's chiefly going to wipe out the nations, especially the children of Edom that's currently in rule of the earth right now. They chiefly going to get wiped out, and this is the time that we're entering into, okay? And I'm praying this much, much sooner and not later, okay? I'll read that again. Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 15, it says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. And this is a stark warning for Christians. And I'm talking about our people in that cult of personality religion called Christianity. They tell you you got pork and that ain't gonna happen to you on the day of the Lord. This is the word. This is what the word of God says. Okay, verse 17. It says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden and behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, said the Most High. So if you found with that poison in your body, you're gonna get turned to dust on the day of the Lord. Okay? And if you do a simple research on, is pork cancerous to the body, the results are going to terrify you. Okay? So why this country make that a cuisine and promote it and sell it and let you know this place is 100% controlled by the devil, okay? And a lot of our people follow, okay, Christianity like it's a good thing. Christianity is the core essence of devil worship, okay? I'll never stop repeating that. It's evil, it's witchcraft, and anyone that partake in that so-called cult of personality way of life, you're going to get judged on the day of the Lord. The Lord is coming with fire to destroy this place, right? Regarding that Sarmat, I want it now, okay? These missiles are going to fly. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 50 real quick. Let's get Jeremiah 50 super quick. Yeah, E-Day is approaching the United States. Okay. And I did a little research on that hantavirus. I was wrong about it being a variant of C-19, but it's an old illness that's been around, and that ain't going nowhere. But like I said last week, they're going to come out with, I guess, older illnesses, diseases to try to scare the people. But the truth is, it's not going to work. I'm going to tell y'all something. When they lost the Straits of Hormuz, okay, when the United States lost its strength, and Iran claimed the Straits of Hormuz in that region, America lost what little grip they had on the world. They lost it. This is why they're in a panic mode, and you know they're going to get judged. Okay, this war is going to turn nuclear, and it's America and the Israelis that's going to get caught in this fire. the nations as well, but chiefly the United States, because they no longer have the power they wielded. It's gone, and they're never going to get it back. Gas prices, the economy, all that's just going to implode, and eventually the judgment day is going to follow. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 9. Because Russia not going to just shoot that Sarmat. All the nations are just going to turn on America and Israel. This is imminent at some point. Let me rephrase that. At some point. I won't say imminent, but very soon. That's going to manifest. Because America is weak. It's exposed. It's a wicked kingdom. And the Most High have to take this place down. Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 9. Okay. The old classic. I'm going to wind it down. It says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, the assembly of great nations from the north country. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From this she shall be taken. Their arrows," meaning the nations, "shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain." And you saw that Sarmat video and how it works. Okay, America's going to get destroyed. It won't just be a Satan tool. All the nations are going to shoot their missiles over here. Okay, and the judgment will follow. Okay, like the elder teacher, they'll be simultaneous. When them big missiles are coming and the impact and hitting major cities like New York and Chicago and Los Angeles, the Israelites will be getting beat up. Okay. Okay, so we have to prepare for this time. And that time is getting closer and closer. Right? I want Jeremiah 50 and verse 13. Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 13. It says, "Because of the wrath of the Most High, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues." Okay. Verse 14 says, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about the nations." Okay, that's your Revelation 17. "All ye that bend a bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she had sinned against the Most High." Okay, and this is chiefly America. Again, America is a house of witchcraft, man. It's a demonic kingdom, man. And the Lord have to get rid of this place. And it's a beautiful thing to see the Israelites awoke round about. You got certain congregations teaching overseas. And the Lord awaken his elect children of Israel. And in this 250, you got to wonder if it's going to happen in this era or maybe a little time later. But you can see the awakening is now, and the 12 tribes are awoke. The children of diaspora, they've been awakened, and the great prophecy is going to pan out, which is doomsday, this E-Day. But with it, the children of Israel, they'll be delivered and saved. Okay. Let's see if there's any more. Verse 15, it says, "Shout against her round about. She had given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her that she had done unto her." Okay, and that's symbolic, because Israel is sometimes called labeled the bride. Okay, that's what that's really going into. But the elect children of Israel will be saved, but the wicked Israelites that chose not to repent, they're going to be judged. We're going to be here. Let's get Zechariah 13:8. Okay. Excuse me. Pay close attention to this global conflict. Never ever sleep on that, because There's a lot of warning signs with that. And July 1st is getting close. Some say that's officially 250. We know kingdoms historically, when they hit that period, they're destroyed. So we're going to see. Like I say, it may not be this season. It could be another season. But consider Egypt. When the Most High broke down Egypt, Egypt was weakened. America's in a very weak state now. Okay? So keep the commandments, because the warning signs are there. Zechariah chapter 13 and 8. Let's get the book of Zechariah chapter 13 and 8. All right? And it reads, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein." Verse 9, "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God." Let's get the judgment in Zechariah 14 and 12. This will be the last one. Okay? And this is going to be the end of the wicked, and wicked Israelites chiefly. Okay? Israelites that refuse to repent. Okay, sellouts of Mashar Yashala, going apologetic on Facebook, pushing nonsense, have sold their souls for Esau's, Edom's wealth, just being peasants every damn week, and Facebook pushing nonsense. They're going to be judged, okay? The Lord's not dealing with former Israelites going apologetics for Amalek, okay? And they know who they are. The Lord's going to he's going to shut them down forever, and they're going to be judged and condemned forever. Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. Okay, and this go for all Israelites that just doing foolishness like that, being sellouts and traitors, pushing salvation for everybody, teaching. Okay, the Lord's not dealing with former Israelites that sold their soul to Esau, Edom's kingdom, and obviously took a huge bag to push confusion in social media every damn day. The Lord's going to shut that down, especially on his judgment day. Okay. Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. It says, "And this shall be the plague where the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." Okay? And that's going to be the judgment for, like I say, these traitors in Israel, man. Especially notorious brothers that once stood under this banner and turned on the children of Israel in these last days to teach salvation for everyone, and have the damn audacity to still say they're Israelites. I'm like, and I'm not going to talk about two notorious sellouts, but I'm talking about every last one of them in this Israelite body. The Lord's going to exterminate them, and they're going to die, and they're going to be judged, and that's going to be their final judgment. Okay? They will perish forever. that, we'll give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. We got next. Shalom.